Part 1.
You'll hear a research scholar interviewing a junior student for his research assignment. First, you have time to look at questions 1 to 4. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 4. Hi, I'm a research scholar in the Humanities Department.
Yes?
I was wondering if I could ask you a few questions related to my research.
Sure, go ahead.
Great, thanks. Are you an undergraduate?
Yes, I'm in my 3rd year.
And which faculty are you in?
Social science. Listen, I have a class in another 15 minutes. Will this take long?
It shouldn't take more than 5 minutes. It's 12:30 right now. You should be done by 12:35. So, what are you studying?
Leadership and culture.
And how old did you say you were?
I'm 20.
Right. Do you live on campus?
No, I stay in a dorm right across campus. It's called the Brana Hall.
How do you spell that?
It's B for ball, R for rat, A for America, N for network, A for America, G for Georgia, and H for home.
Thanks. Do you play any sport?
Yes, basketball and tennis.
Before listening to the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 5 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 5 to 10. How often do you play basketball?
Twice every week.
And tennis?
About once a fortnight.
And do you go to the gym?
Yes, I do, on every alternate day from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. I take a rest on Sundays.
Right. And do you belong to any student clubs?
Yes, of course. I'm part of the theatre club and the debating club.
And how often do you participate in the activities of these clubs?
Not as often as I would like. About once or twice a month, I would say.
So do you act in plays?
No, I'm usually part of the production team.
Do you go out for parties?
Yes, I do, mostly on weekends.
And how much do you spend on a typical night out?
Let me think. It's usually about $200 to $400.
That's for one night?
No, that's like for the entire month.
So about 8 nights?
Yeah, between 6 and 8 nights. I don't go out that regularly anymore. A lot of work overload in college, plus most parties take place in our hall itself, so we don't need to go out anywhere.
And how many friends do you have?
More than 20?
I mean, really close friends.
Okay, that's more like about half a dozen, say 5 or 6.
Are they from the same country as you?
No, one's from China, another from Spain, a couple from India, one from Britain, and one from Canada.
That's a multicultural friend list.
That's one of the advantages of studying at a place like this. You learn as you spend more time here.
I'm sure I will. It was great talking to you. Thanks a lot for your time.
Glad I could be of help. Oh, it's 12:38. Time to rush for my class.
That is the end of Part 1.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to Part 2. Part 2.
you will hear a college counselor talk about how to select an academic major. First, you have time to look at questions 11 to 13. Now listen and answer questions 11 to 13. Choosing a major field of study can be a difficult decision, and today's college students are encouraged to weigh several factors before choosing an area of focus for a 4-year degree program. Important considerations include overall program cost, salary expectations, employment rates for employees in the field, and advanced degree opportunities. Ultimately, students must decide which field will offer the best return on investment for their post-secondary education. This comprehensive guide uses measured student outcomes, job market statistics, and other higher education data to explore the various benefits and drawbacks of the nation's most popular undergraduate major subjects. Our goal is to provide a helpful resource for students who are unsure about which major is the best choice for them financially, professionally, and personally. According to a recent report from the University of Laverne, roughly half of all college freshmen enter college undecided about their major. Additionally, as many as 70% will change their major at least once during the course of their 4-year degree program. The majority of these students change their major at least 3 times. Many students worry that changing their major will delay graduation, and as a result, significantly increase their overall tuition costs. However, a study at Western Kentucky University found that shifting major fields had a minimal impact on planned graduation times. Furthermore, the data showed that full-time students who changed majors at least once reported higher graduation rates than those who remained in the same field for their entire bachelor's program. Before listening to the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 14 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 14 to 20. Students typically tend to select their major based on career-related factors and on job availability and employment rates in their proposed field. Employment rates will differ between professionals who enter the workforce with a bachelor's degree and those who go on to earn a master's or other advanced credential. Studies have also found that employment rates varied between new graduates and bachelor's degree holders with multiple years of professional experience. College alumni can be a helpful source of information for students who are exploring different areas of study or considering a change in their major focus. These individuals offer valuable insights about their major for both current students and job seekers. A recent poll by PayScale found that degree-holding alumni generally recommended majors in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, also known as STEM fields. Other areas with high approval ratings included business, accounting and finance, nursing and healthcare management. Alternatively, majors related to the arts, humanities and social sciences held low approval ratings among college alumni. A study from Pew Research Center found that 24% of graduates with a bachelor's degree in a STEM field and 29% of business majors wish they had pursued a different area of study. In contrast, 33% of graduates with degrees in social science, liberal arts, and education regretted their decision. The most important task while choosing a major in college is deciding on your own priorities and goals. Too much of the advice out there on how to pick a major assumes you have particular goals or tells you what your priorities should be. Even your own parents may be focused on particular priorities and goals that don't match up with yours. Family conflict around major choice is a common issue. This may be especially salient for you if your parents are paying for part or all of your education. It is reasonable to listen to your parents' concerns and advice. However, it's important to remember that it's ultimately your major. You'll have to do the work and ultimately leverage that major as you transition into the workforce. If you are studying something you are not really interested in, you may not be very motivated to succeed or maybe even to attend class. So you need to ask, which college major is right for me? Here's some advice on discussing any change in your major plans with your parents. If your parents are paying for your education and they want input into your plans, you can also consider compromises like majors that are agreeable to both of you, double majors or minors. For you to be able to choose a college major that makes sense for you, you first need to figure out what you want out of a college major. For some people, knowing they'll almost always be able to find a job throughout their lives is most important. For others, being able to pursue a particular intellectual interest is the critical factor. Most people are motivated by some combination of factors that they weigh in balance. These factors will guide you towards the answer to the question, what college major is right for me?
That is the end of part 2.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 3. Part 3.
You'll hear two students having a discussion with their professor about their choice of electives. First, you have time to look at questions 21 to 25. Now listen and answer questions 21 to 25. Who is it? Ah, Robin. It's you. And Fiona is also there with you. Come in, both of you. Hello, Professor Larry. Hello, Robin.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Fiona. What brings you guys here?
We were wondering if we could talk to you for a moment.
Sure. Do you need help with something?
We were applying for scholarships and we needed your advice on which ones to apply for.
The scholarships, right. So, which ones do you guys have in mind?
Well, I was thinking of applying for the Global Immersion Scholarship, since it will provide me with the opportunity to travel abroad.
And I'd like to apply for the Whittaker Award to pursue further research in particle physics. All right. I'm sure you are aware that there are certain criteria that need to be satisfied for you to be eligible to apply for these awards. Let me quickly check the awards handbook. Here it is. So, Fiona, you said you were looking at the Global Initiative Scholarship.
The Global Immersion Scholarship, actually.
Right, here it is. The first condition is that you have to be in the 3rd year or 4th year of college, which you are, so that's fine.
Okay.
And you have to rank among the top 5% of your class in the final semester exams.
But we won't know that until after I take the exam, so should I apply for the scholarship after the exams then?
No, I suggest that you apply for the scholarship as soon as you can, since the deadline in any case is June 25th. No, sorry, it is June 29th. You can submit your application before that date and send your examination score later.
That makes sense. Are there any other criteria?
Yes, there's one more criteria. It says you should not have taken any other grants in the past 2 years.
Oh, that's a problem because I did receive an academic scholarship a year back.
You are in luck. Academic scholarships are exempted from that stipulation, so you can still apply for this scholarship. You'll also need 2 referees to vouch for you.
Can I request you to act as a referee, sir?
Sure. I will be happy to do so.
Great, and I'll ask Dr. Miller to act as the second referee.
I'm sure he'll gladly write a recommendation for you.
Thank you, sir.
Before listening to the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30. So, Robin, you said you were thinking of applying for the Whittaker Award. Yes, sir, because I wish to pursue further research in the field of particle physics. As I'm sure you must be aware, the criteria to apply for the Whittaker Award are a lot stricter, since a lot of students these days are interested in particle physics. And the sum awarded is also very large. Oh, is that so? I think I would still like to apply, though. There is no harm in trying, is there? No, there isn't. So, the first thing you need to do is submit a 3,000-word essay describing the exact nature of the research you wish to pursue. Be as specific as you can in this essay, and link it to any past work that you may have already done in this field. Right. I was wondering if there were some examples of successful essays from previous years that I could perhaps look at. Well, not really. You know that plagiarism is a big issue across campuses these days, and once you read another person's work, you could unwittingly end up incorporating certain aspects of it in your own work. I understand. Will you be able to read a draft of my essay then, so that you can give me pointers on how I could improve the same? I'll be happy to. Great! Given your experience, what do you think are my chances of getting this grant? It's difficult to say. As you know, there are only 2 of these grants available, and last year we had around 50 students applying for them. So the chances of success are about 4%. In that case, can I also apply to another scholarship as a backup, in case I don't get this one? I'm afraid you can't. The rules clearly state that each student can only apply for 1 scholarship. Applying for multiple scholarships is not allowed. I think I'll give it a second thought then. I'm really keen to apply for this scholarship, but the thought of not ending up with any scholarship worries me a little. Can you please tell me what is the last date to apply for this scholarship? Sure. It's right here somewhere. Got it. It's June 20th. No, sorry. July 20th. So you have some time to make up your mind. Thanks. Do you have any last piece of advice for me? I have some advice for both of you, so Fiona, you two listen carefully.
Yes, sir.
Make sure you submit a typed application and not a handwritten one, since it is very common for translation errors to occur when reading handwritten text. And make sure that you mention some unique quality about you that distinguishes you from the rest of the applicants and makes you more deserving of the award. Thanks for that advice, sir. We will keep that in mind.
We most certainly will.
Is there anything else I can help you guys with?
No, sir. Thank you for your time. You've been a great help.
The end of part 3.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 4.
Part 4.
You will now hear a talk on the connection between emotions and science. First, you have time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen and answer questions 31 to 35. It is often the case that issues in science trigger highly emotional responses. Global warming, stem cell research, and genetically altered food could each be considered hot topics in science today. Even the change in the definition of the term planet and the subsequent change in Pluto's status as a planet sparked a highly emotional debate among astronomers, scientists, and many individuals in the public at large. News reports described a general sense of disagreement with the reclassification of Pluto among many scientists, astronomers, and individuals in the general public. Hundreds of second and third grade students sent emails to the American Museum of Natural History in New York in protest of the demotion. Further, resistance towards Pluto's reclassification was evidenced among some lawmakers in the United States. The New Mexico state legislature felt the demotion of Pluto was unjustified and consequently passed a bill in March 2007 declaring Pluto to be recognized as a planet within the state boundaries. As a professor of planetary science at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology who helped construct the new definition of planet explains, the word planet and the idea of planets can be emotional because they are something we learn as children. In similar ways, learning about certain scientific topics in school has the potential to spark strong emotions among students. This may especially be the case when students learn that scientists have changed an explanation of a phenomenon or a definition of an object or event that is familiar to them. Learning about familiar topics in science involves a complex system encompassing students' attitudes and knowledge of the phenomenon. The purpose of our study was to explore the relationship between emotions and the possible change in elementary students' attitudes and conceptions about Pluto's reclassification. In addition, our aim was to investigate whether an intervention designed to enhance engagement would promote attitude and conceptual change about a controversial science topic. One such intervention, refutation text, has been shown to be an effective tool for promoting conceptual change. Over the past several decades, researchers in social psychology have been investigating the influences of affect, including moods and emotions, on cognitive processing. Specifically, emotions are brief psychophysiological changes that result from a response to a meaningful situation in one's environment, and typically occur in response to a specific person or event. Emotional responses are quick, automatic, and can occur unconsciously and are powerful influences on how we think and interpret events. Past research examining emotions in academic settings has primarily focused on test anxiety. However, cognitive and educational researchers have begun to investigate a broader spectrum of emotions in learning contexts. For example, Peckran and colleagues have investigated positive and negative emotions and the various influences these emotions exert on academic outcomes. The work by Peckran and colleagues has focused on emotions at general classroom levels, thus providing a useful perspective for their current study. Emotions that relate specifically to academic learning and classroom instructions have been defined as academic emotions. This category of emotions focuses on students' emotions in relation to studying, test-taking, and attending class. In contrast to Peckran's research on emotions at the classroom level, our interest is in examining topic emotions, those emotions related to a specific topic within a classroom. It may be that a student enjoys learning about science and attending science class. However, they may experience frustration or anger when asked to learn the scientific viewpoint of evolutionary biology. Peckran describes a two-dimensional model of academic emotions that includes valence and activation. In our study, we focused on the valence, as that was our interest. Positive emotions include enjoyment, pride, and hope, whereas negative emotions include anxiety, anger, shame, boredom, and hopelessness. It is hypothesized that positive emotions increase motivation, critical thinking, elaboration, and metacognitive strategy use. Additionally, positive emotions can facilitate creative thinking and enhance deeper levels of cognitive processing, thereby facilitating problem-solving, even when the information is negative. Individuals experiencing positive emotions may initially use less complex processing strategies till they notice a discrepancy between their prior knowledge and the new information. Once the discrepancy is noticed, the individual is likely to engage in deeper-level processing of the conflicting information. It is possible that an individual who experiences positive emotional responses to anomalous information may be willing to give thoughtful consideration of that information even when it conflicts with their prior knowledge. For example, if a student enjoys learning about the solar system, she may be willing to thoughtfully weigh the scientists' rationale for reclassifying Pluto as a dwarf planet.
That is the end of part 4.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.